Now, I am really honored to introduce Liz Kari. Liz here is the daughter of Vilma Kari. I know all of us have seen that video of her mother outside the Times Square apartment building, getting attacked while 3 doormen stood by and did nothing. When I first saw that happen, I was shocked to learn that Liz is a friend of a friend. And so I reached out and I said, Liz, how can we help you? And I was blown away by her strength. She kind of took everything on her shoulders. Made her #1 priority has always been to take care of her mother. And then she shared with me her vision. She said, you know, it's been a dark moment for my family, and it's honestly a dark moment for the Asian community, but I want to do something here. And so she pitched that vision to me after many a sleepless night of her thinking through these things. And I said, how can we help you? And I'm so proud that she's going to share now what she's doing and this amazing project that she's just launched.
Hi everyone. Wow, it's nice to see all of you. I mean, I would have never have dreamed that I would be on a stage speaking to people today. I mean, I think in the last 2 years, nobody dreamed a lot of things would happen. And unfortunately, some incidents have occurred, but we're trying to make the most of them. And like Ben said, I mean, he's really been an ally. From the moment that the attack happened on my mom, he reached out, and I want to apologize for many an email and a text at 3 in the morning. That was really the only time that I had to myself once I put my mom to bed. Something really important to me is the idea of storytelling, and so I'm going to share a little bit about what I experienced that day and kind of tell you a little bit about that vision that Ben helped me to create. So it was March 29th, it was a Monday. Like anyone else, I was work from home. I had just done a couple Zoom meetings, drinking a cup of coffee, and I was running my Monday reports when my mom sent me, well, I missed a call. I looked at my phone and she sent me a text that said, call me, I've been attacked. And my heart sank. I immediately picked up the phone and I heard her voice, and she said, I'm in a police car. I think someone tried to mug me. I don't really know. But come to me. I hit my head and I need to go to the hospital. So my boyfriend and I dropped everything. I told my coworkers, sorry, I have to go, something's happened, I'll be back online later. And I ran to the hospital where I found her surrounded by police officers. It didn't occur to me what was happening all day. As many of us, we text our closest friends and say something's happened. You know, my mom's in the hospital, I'll keep you posted. I spent the day with her, I held ice packs on her head. You know, there's lots of questions asked, and I got home late that night, about 9 o'clock. Finally plopped down on my sofa, had a glass of wine, and I received a text from a friend that said, is this your mom? And it was a link to the Diet Prada Instagram post. And I looked at it and I watched the video and I said, oh my goodness, this is terrible. You know, we've been seeing things on the news, we've been hearing things, and it didn't connect with me immediately. And I watched it again and I said, that's how my mom walks. She was wearing white pants today because I did have to show them to the police officer at the hospital. That was similar to the coat she had on. That's about her hair length. And then it started to click. And I watched it again, and I watched it again. And then I watched it again and again after I realized it was her. This horrible attack had happened, and then I had to mix those two sentiments together. I've never had a panic attack before, but I had to stand up from my sofa to breathe. And my boyfriend helped me as I screamed at, probably this is 11 p.m. last night, so I apologize to my neighbors. I screamed, but that's my mom, over and over again. And he held me and he said, but you were with her. You saw her. You were there. She's okay. And in that moment, I had a little bit of relaxation, but I did not know what was in store for me for the next weeks, months, and leading up to today. The next morning, I woke up to reporters knocking on my door, even before the alarm went off. And that was the first moment that I knew something big was happening. I had been reading all night the posts on the Diet Prada, people asking, who is this woman? What happened? The doorman, the outrage. There was a lot of emotion surrounding it, and it's very weird to see it and know it's about you and not say anything. But I watched it. So for those of you that voiced anything, thank you. I saw a lot of it, but didn't raise my hand. Also out of respect of my mom not knowing. I texted her from the hospital once the video came out and just said, "What are you doing? Is everything okay?" She said, "I'm sleepy. I think I'll go to bed now." And I felt a little relief that she hadn't seen the video. So the next morning I get to the hospital, rather than having to give my ID, explain who I am, and be ambiguously directed to the back of the hospital, my ID was already written and ready on the desk, and I had an escort to the back of the emergency room. And I started to put the pieces together, and I started to hear the feedback. I saw a fake GoFundMe post come up claiming to be my mom. I had to shut that down while at the hospital. And then while I was there, I was trying to inform her that this was something big. And as most of our moms, probably, as you know, if you had to tell your mom something today, she said, "No, I don't want anyone to know. I want to deal with this. Don't tell anybody. I'm okay. I don't want anyone to know about this thing that happened to me. It's unfortunate, and I don't want it to be associated." I said, okay, we'll respect that. Let's just get you home. We got home. There were press waiting outside my door. We had to take a back way in. And I wanted to respect her wishes as much as most of us do. I think we are taught to revere and honor our elders, and we've hit kind of a point where we have to also stand up and say, but I'm taking care of you. I'm returning the favor, and this is not okay. So it took about a week for her to actually see the video. If any of you are curious, we shielded her. We turned all the news off. We turned on some fun Netflix. We turned on Jill Coy, because we're Filipino, and had a good laugh about our culture, and just tried to enjoy being together and understanding what was coming next. I was her caretaker. I am an only child, and my father passed away in 2012. Most of our family is in the Philippines, so we are together. My mom was actually just passing through New York to stay with me for a few months on her way to the Philippines, so she's only been here since December. She was exploring Times Square when this occurred. I had many sleepless nights. As Ben knows, as I sent him emails and he reached out and I said, I have an idea. I've been laying in bed and I've been reading these beautiful messages that people have been sending, encouragement, sorrow, prayers, trying to relate and tell me how they felt so similar. They felt that their mother was about 65 and they were maybe Filipino American or AAPI, and it hit home. And some of them even started to share with me very dark stories about things they had endured, to know that I wasn't alone and that I could reach out to them as a resource. If I didn't have that, I don't know what things would have been like today. That encouragement from the community of having one another and seeing each other even turn out now is so very important. That got me through so many nights, and I thought, wow, the AAPI community, while I've always only been half, I really feel like a whole, and I felt like I was accepted and people were giving me their energy in return, and I wanted to bottle up my GoFundMe inbox and share it with the world. So I came to Ben and I asked him, I said, I have an idea. What if I created an anonymous website where people could just share their stories and they could have even a cathartic experience? Maybe you never want to speak to anybody about it, like my mom, as I slowly had to convince her. And maybe you want to just submit and let the world know. And on the flip side, maybe you want to read other people's stories and know that they feel the same way and that you're not alone in what you've experienced. As I met with different people, they just want to share with me their stories, and it's almost kind of an unloading. It's a catharsis. It's a therapy for everyone. So I built a little program. It's called AAPI I Belong, in honor of my mom, because that assailant said that she did not belong here because she was Asian. So I've taken that as my namesake, in a sense, and harnessed AAPI belong to mean something more than you don't, but you really do. So there's a website if you can check it out. I've also just opened and launched a little pop-up gallery just 3 blocks away from us here on Lafayette Street to showcase the very first submissions that we've received. And if I could ask anything of you today, is that our generation of our elderly parents are obviously being targeted, and they are not the most open and willing to reach out. If it means anything, go home and have a conversation with your parents about what they were experiencing when they were your age. I think you'll learn a lot about them. it's not just about safety, it's about knowing their past and their present and who they are and sharing that story. So I just want to thank you all for being here today to hear me talk, and I'll be at that location at Lafayette today and next week, so I hope to see you there. But thank you all so much for sharing my story.